6 months ago today, I started developing a game called Monster Tower. If we take a second to rewind the clock, 2006 was the year I had gotten my first handheld system, and very shortly after, I had fallen in love with a pretty well-known franchise called Pokemon. This was a brilliant game with the unique mechanic of discovering and training your very own monsters. Between the different typing matchups to learn about and moves to master, there was a lot for my young brain to get engulfed in and inspired by. Growing up, I loved video games. Maybe slightly too much, but regardless, I had become addicted to writing down ideas from my scatterbrained head from games that inspired me and tried to create my own ideas. My hobby became creating game ideas with my brother, but we had no idea what we were doing, so they stayed as just that, ideas. There was one concept that had stuck with me for as long as I can remember though, and that was the idea of a game where you could catch and train monsters like in the games I had loved so dearly as a kid. I took the leap. I learned how to develop video games with no professional knowledge and am now developing that game 10 years later. This is 6 months of development on my childhood dream game, Monster Tower. June 5th, 2020 marks the official public start of the project. I uploaded a concept pitch video on my YouTube channel, and within the first couple weeks after the upload, my channel had gone from 300 subscribers to over 2,000 and had been seen by over 20,000 total people. I had absolutely nothing to show for but the concept of a turn-based monster catcher with roguelike elements, monster fusing, and a standard RPG progression system. By the end of month 1, I had a super rough idea of how the game would play in the overworld, and I had sketched up a mock-up of the battle scene design. August was a hectic month of trying out more art styles for the game and finally bringing a combat system to life. It doesn't exactly work by any stretch of the imagination, but it was really cool to create a space for my monsters to exist in. In September, I had expanded the development team from a solo passion project to a 3-man team ready to make an awesome video game. The battle system now works at a basic level, and we now have our main protagonist for the game. Oh yeah, and I am a sucker for games with resource collection, so I threw that in as well. Over the last couple months, we added a template simulation menu for 2-player battling, drastically improved the visuals in the overworld and the battle scene, while also developing some other crucial additions to the game like woodcutting, proper fishing, mining, and even creating NPCs that you will meet throughout the game's story. It's now December 2020, and we have grown to over 5,000 total supporters on the channel, secured some legal help, financial support, marketing expertise, and more connections than I could ever possibly imagine. I am so beyond proud of where I started at the beginning of this journey, where I have gotten to so far, and where I continue to go moving forward. In 6 months, we have accomplished a lot of the foundation of what makes our game what it is, but we are very far from being done. Making a game is an experience and takes a lot of hard work and determination to truly pull off. If you want to become successful in any industry, I will let you in on a lesson that I find extremely valuable. If you want to become successful, you need to look at the people you idolize and want to be like and be better. Don't aim for mediocrity, always aim for higher than you can imagine. My dream was to make a video game. Well, I did that. My dream was to create a community of over 1,000 people. I did that too. My dream was to make a few $1,000s in developing video games as a teenager. Done. Never settle, always look forward, and continue to progress. I still have a long journey ahead of me, but I am no longer scared of failing or losing. In order to win, you need to lose, learn from your losses, and come back stronger. If there is anything I can teach you from what the past 6 months has taught me, just remember that success is found within, and the only way you truly lose is if you give up. Every game over has 2 options. At a loss, you can quit and end the game, or you can press continue, get right back to it with a higher understanding and more experience.